Jim Bowden of The Athletic put out a new article previewing the 2025 MLB Trade Deadline, and there were a lot of Red Sox linked to new teams. We're going to talk about that article in today's video, but before we do that, I gotta bring this back up. We talked about it on a video when I was at home, so I didn't have the ability to fully show the graphic, but Marshall Green, the host of our Giants channel and resident Yankee fan, Yankee loser, whatever you want to call him, challenged us to a sub battle in the month of June. Now, we do not have a Yankee channel here at Chat Sports, but our Giants channel is the closest proximity we could get to crushing the Yankee losers like the Red Sox are going to do this weekend. We're losing right now. 151 subs for us, 178 subs for Giants. We need to change that. I need to win this battle against Marshall Green so we can prove that Red Sox fans aren't slouches. So if you love the Red Sox, hit that subscribe button right now, and let's jump into today's video. So Jim Bowden of The Athletic released an article titled MLB Trade Targets to Address the Biggest Needs for Each Contending Team. So what Bowden did is he compiled a list of who he believes are the contenders in Major League Baseball as of right now. He found their biggest need and picked one player that would be the perfect fit for the team, and then named honorable mentions as well. There are 6 instances in this article where a Red Sox player is mentioned. So we're going to talk about him in today's video. The first instance that he mentions is Aroldis Chapman to the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, these are all under the guise that the Red Sox are going to be sellers at the deadline. We don't know that yet. That is not confirmed. The Red Sox are still in a very crucial period of the season where if they take 2 or 3 off the Yankees this weekend, they are back in the division race, and you could see a scenario where they want to buy. And there are reports that we've talked about in the past few days that the Red Sox do not want to sell at the deadline. But if they do, Aroldis Chapman is my number 1 trade candidate. 1-year deal, rental, and he's been playing really well so far. Now, I've eaten crow. I've said I'm wrong. I've said it a billion times this year already because I thought the Chapman signing was horrific in the offseason, but he's been your best he's been your best reliever. 28 and a third innings. He's got a 1.59 ERA, 39 Ks, 9 walks, which is the biggest point of emphasis I want to make here. He's not walking people, which is huge, and a FIP of 2.20. If you're selling at the trade deadline, Chapman goes first. I think that most contending teams, they are looking for back-end, high-leverage bullpen help. You see that every year. Every contending team is looking to upgrade their bullpen. And Aroldis Chapman, I think, has been one of the best high-leverage relievers in all of baseball this year. So, does it make sense? I sure think so. Does it make sense to the Phillies? I don't know. We'll see in a few weeks. But if the Red Sox sell, I think Chapman is the number 1 person to go. But you let me know. You play GM. Would you trade Aroldis Chapman? Type T for trade. Type K for keep. I think if the circumstances come and the Phillies come knocking, I think it makes a lot of sense. But you let me know. T for trade, K for keep. I want to hear your thoughts. So Aroldis Chapman was an honorable mention. He was not the player, or, is that actually true? I want to fact check that. No. Aroldis Chapman was an honorable mention. He was not the favorite target. Jarren Duran is Jim Bowden's favorite target for the San Diego Padres. And I'm going to give you a little spoiler to this. It's not the last time we're going to talk about Duran in this video. But here's what Jim Bowden had to say about Jarren Duran to the Padres. The Padres are again targeting Duran. League sources told The Athletic's Dennis Lin in an article we talked about about a week ago, which makes sense considering the Red Sox have his replacement, Roman Anthony, the best prospect in baseball, ready to step in. However, Boston needs starting pitching help in return, and the Padres really don't have that to offer. They could dangle their top prospects, but I'm not sure Boston would bite on that type of offer for Duran, who's under team control through 2028. So like I mentioned, he was named the Padres' favorite target by Jim Bowden. But I actually agree with him. I don't think that the Padres could put together a package That would make sense for Jarren Duran. We talked about this ad nauseum when that report from Dennis Lin came out last week. They do not have a trade package that would possibly reach the value of Jarren Duran. And that's why I firmly believe that Duran will not be traded to San Diego. However, could he be traded to the Astros? Interesting to say the least. I think they do have some draft capital that would be interesting. They've got some major league players that could be interesting. They have some pitching that would be interesting. It's an interesting thought. Duran was named as a possible target for the Astros, not the favorite. I'm still not trading Jarren Duran. I'm not. I'm going to die on that hill. I know that people have talked about it and said, Duran is not the Duran that was last year, and this and that and the other thing. He's had some of the off-field stuff and some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that's not great, and blah, 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 blah. He's still a good ball player. He's played in 69 games this year. Nice. 81 hits, 5 home runs, okay, not that many. 38 RBIs, okay. He's hitting 271 with a 753 OPS, and he still leads the league in triples. This guy, and I know that Dave O'Brien says it all the time, and people say it all the time, the Red Sox go when Jarren Duran goes. And him being the spark plug on this team is highly, highly valuable, and he's also an Alex Cora guy. I think if he were to get traded, the locker room, Alex Cora, everyone involved would not be happy. And I think that you would lose the fan base as well. I have said that a Jarren Duran trade is your next Mookie Betts trade, where you would lose the fan base once again, because there has not been a player more beloved in quite some time than Jarren Duran. You can like him, you can hate him. And I know a lot of non-Red Sox fans are going to hate him, and they're going to say tennis racket, and this, and that, and the other thing. And I get it. But you will not find a player more beloved by the Boston Red Sox fan base than Jarren Duran. So if you were to trade Jarren Duran, Craig Breslow, front office, I'm talking directly to you, get ready for Mookie Betts Backlash 2.0. Because it will get ugly. People will check out, and they will not be happy. Now, when we look at this, when we crunch the numbers and we actually look at this, the likelihood to be traded, I think, goes like this. I think Ceddanne Rafaela is number one. I get that you signed him to the contract. I get that his glove is very tantalizing. I get that you would love for him to be in center field for the next decade. But his bat is so hit and miss, and I don't think his ceiling is there offensively. You can get away with the glove if you're hitting a little bit. And he has had his stretches. I mean, right now he's on a hot streak. But that's not sustainable, and we've seen that over the past few years. But I do still think with his glove, you get a pretty penny. So he'd be number one. Number two is Wilyer Abreu. I think he's the complete package when he's right. He's injured right now. He's on the IL. But before that, after the first month of the season, he's been ice cold at the plate. He's also a lefty. So that one's probably number two. I think you get a pretty penny for him. And I think Jarren Duran's number three. I don't think, and maybe I'm just maybe I'm in a fairyland. I don't know. But I think that he's so valuable to this team that they cannot risk trading him, and I don't think they are going to trade him. But you let me know. You be Craig Breslow. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely off base. I've only watched every game so far this season, but maybe I'm off base. I have no idea. Y for yes, N for no. Would you, personally, if you were Craig Breslow, would you trade Jarren Duran? I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Walker Buehler to the Toronto Blue Jays. We have an inter-division trade. This one's interesting to me because I don't necessarily think the Blue Jays are that good. I don't think they're going to be contenders. I honestly think in the next few weeks, you're going to pass the Blue Jays in the division race. I firmly believe that. But if that doesn't happen, and the Blue Jays they come a-calling, and you are selling, Buehler's an interesting candidate. I think Giolito you could put in this conversation as well. I mean, call spade to spade. He's not been a world beater this year. Started 11 games, got a 5.01 ERA, 58 Ks, 17 walks, a FIP at 3.880. But his last start was really good. Or no, it wasn't. I'm totally blanking. It wasn't. It actually was horrible against the Yankees. It was like 5 earned runs or 7 earned runs. I take that back. I'm thinking of this past week where you had Bayo, Giolito. Oh, no, it was Buehler. Buehler shoved 2 nights ago. Okay, whatever. I don't know what I'm saying. If you're selling, it makes sense. I don't know. I'm getting off track here. If you're selling, it makes sense because he's on a 1-year deal. He's making like, what, $20-something million a year. If you can get that off your payroll, again, if you're selling, if the season's over, just let Dick Fitz, let Hunter Dobbins, let them go. Maybe call up another AAA arm, see what they got. Because at that point, it's a developmental year. So, it makes sense. I don't know. I think they should give it a look. And I think Giolito should also be one that is considered as well. Last but not least, we got Wilyer Abreu. So the person that I put at the number 2 likelihood under Ceddanne Rafaela to both the Cleveland Guardians and the Kansas City Royals. He was an honorable mention for both. Here's what Jim Bowden had to say in particular about the Guardians. The Guardians would love to pry Abreu from the Red Sox with the argument that he's blocking Anthony, the game's best prospect. But it appears Boston believes there is a scenario where there's room for both. I don't know what that scenario is. Maybe it is trade Jarren Duran or trade Ceddanne Rafaela, which in that case, sure, that makes sense. Look, I've always said it. Trade Ceddanne, move Jarren to center, put Roman in left. I think it's that easy, but maybe it's not that easy. I don't know. I'm not a GM. But I do think Wilyer's more likely than Duran because I think Duran has shown that he can consistently hit with more upside than Wilyer. The glove is not as good, but Wilyer's had his fair share of errors this year. So I think if the opportunity's there and a Guardians come a-calling with some interesting prospects or an interesting trade package, I don't see why not. He was the hottest hitter on your team to start the season. The first month of the year, he was in the MVP conversation. But since then, he's cooled off mightily. He's played in 64 games. Again, he's on the IL right now. 51 hits, 13 home runs, 32 RBIs. He's hitting 245, 792 OPS. He's really cooled off as of late. So it's interesting to think about. But I think at the end of the day, expect an outfielder to get traded. Maybe it's not Wilyer. But according to Jim Bowden, who released another article today at the time of recording this, and this comes via Robbie Hyde, who aggregated that. Robbie Hyde, great YouTube channel. Go check it out if you have not already. Jim Bowden, in an article that he released today at the day of recording this, mentioned that the Red Sox are looking to deal an outfielder for starting pitching and an upgrade at first base. Robbie Hyde agrees with me. He imagines that Wilyer would be the preference. But I would expect by the trade deadline that one of the 3 starting outfielders does get traded. So who is it? They've all got their upsides. They've all got their downsides. You let me know in the comments. Type JD if you think it's going to be Jarren Duran. WA if you think it's Wilyer Abreu, or CR if you think it's Ceddanne Rafaela. If I were Craig Breslow, I would trade Ceddanne Rafaela. If I'm thinking logically, I think it'll be Wilyer Abreu. I just do not see someone calling you up with a package good enough to trade Jarren Duran. That's just me, but you let me know in the comments. Which of these 3 do you think gets traded at the deadline? If the Red Sox make a move, we're going to make a video about it, at least a short. We did a short about the trade 2 nights ago. But if the Red Sox make a move, we're going to make a video about it. We're also going to be live for both the MLB draft and the trade deadline. So if the Red Sox deal an outfielder during the trade deadline, we will be live. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and help me beat Marshall Green this month, taking on Giants now. That's it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Enjoy the game tonight. It's going to be a good one. And until next time, go Sox.